Hi, remember Psych 101 and you learned about Elizabeth Kubler-Ross and her 5 stages of grief and loss? Well, guess what? You're probably going through those same stages related to the loss of your classroom and adjusting to virtual instruction. Now, the good news is I have 6 ways that you can empower yourself and your instruction and pull yourself out of those stages, and no one has to die. Now, I am not a licensed mental health expert. I am Linda Cortez. I'm a math turnaround specialist, and since March, I've been helping hundreds of teachers get their mojo back and become masters of virtual instruction. And now I'm going to do the same thing for you. So I want to share something with you, okay? Right there. Okay, so what I'm going to share with you is the 5 stages of grief versus 6 ways to empower your virtual instruction. So we're going to first of all talk about those stages very briefly, and then we're going to spend most of the time talking about the 6 ways that you can empower yourself. So the first stage is denial. This is where, at first we were like, COVID, what's COVID? And then it was, oh, okay, we have to shut down for 2 weeks. Okay, well, we'll be back. It's not that big a deal. We'll be back in 2 weeks. And then it was the end of the school year. And then we were like, well, surely we'll be back in the fall. And so now it's past that time, and we're probably out of the denial and maybe into the anger stage. So in the anger stage, you're going to see this manifesting as you're frustrated, you're anxious all the time, you're mad. You might find yourself ranting in the Facebook groups, or you might see other people that are in that stage. Okay, but it's like we're blaming everybody and people are blaming you, and it's just this awful, angry situation. But the nice thing is, you're going to progress through these stages, okay? Don't stay in the anger. You're probably going to go into bargaining where you're like, yes, please, dear Lord, show us the light at the end of the tunnel. And after you try and you try and you try, guess what? You might fall into a depression because you're so overwhelmed with all the things that you have to learn, all the new tools, all the doing things differently, getting the kids to show up, getting them to sit up, getting them to wear a shirt and not be eating and playing, chatting with each other. I mean, just all those things that it just becomes overwhelming. You're probably losing sleep. You're maybe not taking care of yourself like you should, and you just kind of fall into this helplessness. And then you start to get some training and things start to pick up. And eventually you're like, okay, I'm accepting it. It is what it is. And I'm going to survive this. But this is where the 5 stages of grief kind of stop. But I feel like that's just not enough for us as teachers. We need to feel empowered. We want to be the role models for kids on how to be resilient, how to be problem solvers, how to be persistent, and definitely how to learn. A growth mindset is what we need to model, and we're really getting the opportunity to do that. So I'm going to talk now about the 6 ways that you can empower yourself and your instruction. The number one way is to recognize that you are going to go through these stages and to know what stage you're in and to know what can I move toward to get out of this? What can I do to get out of this? And these 6 things, these 6 strategies I'm talking about next, this is how you pull yourself out of there, okay? So first of all, recognizing what stage you're in is important. And then secondly, be intentional about self-care. You have to put yourself first and your health and safety and happiness and peace of mind first. If you don't, you're not going to be any use to anyone else, certainly not your students, certainly not your family, and eventually not yourself. So be intentional about your self-care. Make sure that you're doing 3 things every day, that you're getting enough rest, that you're getting enough healthy food to eat, and that you're doing something fun and relaxing that you enjoy. So maybe it's journaling, maybe it's sitting and sipping a good cup of coffee and reading a book. Maybe it's just watching TV, but none of that binge stuff. That's kind of what we tend to do when we're in denial and depression, is that binge watching and drinking too much wine and that sort of thing. Okay. Self-care doesn't mean, being obsessive about things that are not healthy for you. The third empowerment strategy is to hang out and network with positive people. There are tons of teachers in Facebook groups trying to support each other, but you'll notice that there's also a lot of ranting and complaining in those groups. So if you're in one of those groups where they're doing that, dismiss yourself from that group. It's not worth having to see all the negative stuff in order to get the few bits of help. If you're looking for a group that you want to join that is positive and solution oriented, you should try the group that I opened up for people. It's called Teachers Mastering Virtual Instruction. Just go to Facebook groups, and you know how to get into those. You just ask to join, and then it might take a day or two, probably not even 2 days. It'll be 1 day at the most, and I will approve. And then the people in this group are so positive and solution oriented. Like every Monday we do Motivation Monday, and Tuesday is Tool Tuesday, where we share tools that are working great and solve problems. And then on Wednesday, that's What Works Wednesday. So that's an awesome day as well. Now, the main idea here is get around some people who are positive and solution oriented. And when you find yourself in a group that is not, dismiss yourself politely and feel free to unfriend people that aren't good friends. The fourth thing that you can do is to remember that the main thing is to keep the main thing. Prioritize. So first of all, decide what is the main thing. And hopefully it's something around, I'm just imagining that it has something to do with helping kids learn. And so if that's the main thing, everything you do should be centered on that. So if you find yourself doing a lot of other things that don't directly impact how your virtual students are learning and engaging with the lessons, then it's probably not something that is worth your immediate attention. It goes on the back burner. Remember, some things seem urgent, but they're not really important. So if you can take care of the urgent and important things at the things that are both urgent and important, that's the way to direct your energy and your attention. And that means prioritizing. The people that are in the Master Virtual Instruction Bootcamp course that I teach, they get a lot of help with this. And the people who join that, you get all kinds of strategies and help and downloads to prioritize your time. There are some exercises that you can do that will cut your time in half, really, in half. And then the fifth thing you can do is change your perspective about so-called problems and turn them into opportunities to add new tools to your bag of tricks. So when you run into stumbling blocks, it just means that there is some tool out there or some strategy that you have not yet learned and you're about to add to your bag of tricks. 2020 is probably going to be the year of most growth for most teachers. And then the sixth strategy is to ask for help. No one expects you to know it all and to do it all. Ask for help. There are so many free available things online. If you go to my website, Red Hot Math, you'll see some free resources there. And then there's also, I mentioned it earlier, the Master Virtual Instruction course is at redhotmath.com. And this is for anyone, not just math teachers, but it is a course that was originally a boot camp that was live, but I turned it into modules. So you have the video lessons, 7 modules. So you can go through them one by one, or you can just pick and choose whatever you're struggling with. So, for example, let's say you're having trouble with your kids in the breakout groups and they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. There's a whole module that covers breakout groups and how to manage them and make them more engaging. If you're having trouble mastering your tools or your platform, there's a module for each one of those. If it's maybe you want to make it more rigorous and engaging, there's a whole module that covers that. And then let's say you're maybe having trouble with communicating with parents, getting parents to partner with you. There's a module on that. So you should really check that out and, keep those 6 things in mind, because we help you with that throughout the course as well when you join the course. And it's with you all year long. It won't take you all year long to complete the course. It'll probably take you 7 days or 7 weeks, however you split it up. But the support goes all year long. So if you like this video, please share it, like it, comment on it. And when I say share, I mean like really share the heck out of it, okay? Give it to everybody you know who is struggling with this, or who maybe knows someone who might be struggling with it, okay? Let's help people out. And check out the Master Virtual Instruction Bootcamp at redhotmath.com, okay? Thank you so much, and I hope this really helps you.